It is the Manly Sea Eagles taking on the West Tigers. The Sea Eagles bring in Abbas Miski and Hopewati is in the centre. Gashevsky going back to the second row. Unfortunately, Joel Thompson has played his last game in the NRL. His season's over, and with him heading to St Helens next year, it's kind of a wrap for him. So, congratulations on your NRL career. Really not the way that you wanted it to end, but that's by the by right now. We will talk about the players that are there, and the Tigers. They've gone for a bit of a change up as well. Dewey into the centre, Mbai at fullback, Kipoa on the wing. I think that this could be a smart move, just simply because the last time you saw that Mbai Kipoa combination, the Tigers absolutely leaked points, and it was just an absolute horror show. I think it might have been against the Sharks. I can't remember who it was, but all I remember is watching and thinking, Jesus Christ, change that edge up because you are absolutely being slaughtered down that side. So
it was either that one or when Charlie Staines scored 4.
Maybe. I don't know. It was against someone that scored a lot of points down that side. That's all we know for sure. But the Tigers, I mean, I'm really tempted to take the Tigers, but I don't think I can do it to myself. I mean, their seasons, everyone outside the 8, their season's pretty much done at this point. 4 points off everyone in a minus points differential. I don't see anyone realistically, catching up or gaining any ground on anyone there. The Sea Eagles, Spooner at fullback, doesn't fill me with a great amount of confidence. Your halves are going to have to really step up again here. Your forward pack of Fanua, Blake and Tapawa are basically where your meters are made because, I mean, Jake Trbojevic hasn't been Jake Trbojevic this year. He's not been great. He hasn't fell into that rhythm. And I mean, we put up a few weeks ago sort of the amount of players that each team has used, and the Sea Eagles had the least amount of players used. And granted, some of the injuries have come in key positions, in Walker missing and Tom Trbojevic, but the rest of the players you feel like were pretty interchangeable. So for some reason, those two changes have just absolutely knocked the life out of the Sea Eagles in 2020. And I think they're just looking forward to getting through the season, getting the players off the park and just recuperating and going again. But saying that, I still fancy them here against the Tigers.
Yeah, it's a tough one. We saw last week Tavita Funa got I'd love to say reality check. I think he got that one against South Sydney, but I think it's pretty safe to say that he's not a fullback. He was caught out of position way too many times. Obviously, it doesn't help when you have someone like Josh Addo-Carr who can, run faster than lightning can strike. And yeah, you have Funa, who isn't the quickest guy. Big guy, stocky guy, handy in defence, but not necessarily the quickest guy caught out of position. He definitely got caught out last week. Look, it leads me to say, and this is nothing against the Manly side, but they're also coming up against the Tigers team who just told Benji that he's not wanted next year. So I think Benji's going to come out and have an absolute barnstormer. This is his audition to try and get himself one more year in the NRL. I haven't heard of anyone who's been asking. I know Benji wants to go around one more. I don't see him moving to England. Who knows? Potentially he goes to the Warriors. Mentors Paul Turner and Harris Tavita for a year. Goes to his home country for a swan song, and then calls it quits. I think I'd really like to see that, but Benji's going to be giving his outside backs a lot of ball, and I think I don't know. The odds suggest Manly. Manly are at $1.60. The Tigers are at $2.35. Look, I'm going Nofo or Kapoa for anytime try scorers. Both of them. The immediate thing that stuck out for me was that both wingers for the Tigers are very good try scorers, and there's a high chance that if they get on the outside, Thuna's not going to be able to come around quick enough. George Tafua jams in a lot, so if Benji can have that sleight of hand or a beautiful Harbour Bridge pass that he has, I think both of them will get in. I'm going to say the Tigers. I say that with no confidence whatsoever. You can't back either of these teams at the moment. But if I had to, knowing that they've had a similar sort of run, both teams have played Penrith in their last 5. They've both played Newcastle. The Manly have played the Storm, Tigers, the Roosters, very similar teams in terms of where they are on the ladder. Canterbury, the Tigers got up there. Look, I'm going the Tigers. I say that with no real confidence. If you add those 3 together, it's a $7 multi, but I'm only saying this because I think we need to suggest tips. We're not a page that doesn't suggest tips for games we don't like. But for me personally, this is probably a game that I'm not going to put much, if anything, on.
Yeah, I join your line of thinking. So I struggled for this one as well. I'm going to go with Cherry Evans anytime, just because I think that he's going to chance his arm coming up against those Tigers forwards who tend to tire and slip off a tackle here and there. I'm also going to go by anytime, just because he likes to run the ball, although he's played in the halves and he's got a good passing game to him. I just think that he's probably going to be more inclined to back himself just based on how they've played in recent weeks. A lot of ball down, a lot of mistimings and misfirings when it comes to picking lines and who's supposed to be going through what hole. So I think along the same lines as my Cherry Evans thinking, really. So going to go with that by Cherry Evans anytime. I'm just going to go Sea Eagles just on the head-to-head, just because I can't figure out as to whether the Seagulls turn up and blow this one out, or it's just going to be a close run game. Because I mean, the Tigers, realistically, this should be a tight game, but sometimes the Tigers just don't show up for whatever reason. So yeah, that's where my thinking goes on that one.
I don't know if you've realised this, mate, but that's our first one in a week and a half that we don't agree on. So 4-3 is happening one way or another.
Unless we end up going alternate games again, which seems to happen every other week.
Yeah, that's true. If you're curious, your multi is 1775.
Ooh. Coming out swinging with the big value this week. But okay then. With that, we will get on to the next one.